Go, Cubs, go. Go, Cubs, go. Go, Cubs, go.
We get it, Caleb. Go Cubs, go.
Hey, Chicago, what do you say?
Go Cubs, go.
No, it's the Cubs are going to win today.
I don't know the words to that song. I'll tell you.
Come on.
I don't know the words.
Fly the W.
I'm a jealous right now.
Fly the W. 2 dubs in your face right now.
Yes. I know this is a great moment for you that your Cubs finally won a World Series, but it just reminds me the Yankees haven't won since 2009. It's killing me. So I'm jealous.
Bro, you got 28.
I need 29.
We've got like 3 or 2.
Okay, yeah, and it's the first one in 108 years.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Come on. Yeah, 7 years is not that bad. 7 years.
When you're used to winning all the time, it's bad. I mean, when
you
you were the
can't-
lovable losers, you expected it, but now they finally win. So
Don't hit on my franchise.
yeah. But Caleb, obviously we're moving into our World Series discussion to kind of kick off the show, and just something interesting I just want to bring up really quick, because the history of Cleveland sports is awful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about everything that's kind of happened into them. You have 1987.
Mm-hmm.
You have the drive.
Yeah.
So John Elway goes 98 yards, okay?
Yeah. How much time was left? Was it like 2 minutes?
It wasn't that much time. I mean, I wasn't even alive back then. So all I just know is John Elway broke the heart of Cleveland.
Yeah, did his thing.
Then the following year, same AFC Championship game, you have Ernest Biner, who's a very good running back, but a lot of people associate him with this fumble, which is also known as the fumble.
Yeah.
But Caleb, what happened a couple of days ago, I haven't seen anybody label it yet. So the few listeners that we actually have, I want this to kind of be proof just in case if this becomes big and somebody says it next week or something, I'm the first to say it. I'm labeling this as the collapse.
Collapse.
They're up 3-1.
Yeah.
3-1.
All the momentum, too.
And the one positive thing that Cleveland had, obviously, was in June with the Cavaliers winning against Golden State. Yeah. And
coming
those
back from 3-1,
titles,
ironically.
Yeah, they have the titles that associate with that game. Obviously, the block. LeBron James coming out of nowhere to block Iguodala's shot. Yeah. Then you have the shot where my boy Uncle Drew was too clutch.
It's about getting buckets.
Yes, he knows what this game's about.
About getting buckets.
And then you have the stop with Kevin Love shutting down Stephen Curry. Anybody that would have said that Kevin Love is going to get a stop against Stephen Curry to win the game, I would have laughed at him. But it happened. Those are the only positive aspects of Cleveland sports over the last 50 years, because I can go on more after the fumble. You have 1997, the World Series loss for the Indians against the Marlins.
Game 7, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Game 7,
and they had the lead.
Yes, they had the lead in the ninth inning and lost. Man. And then obviously a few years ago, LeBron loses to Golden State in the finals. Yeah. So as rough as it is being a New York sport fan in general, because let me tell you, it is awful being a Jet fan and a Knicks fan. You have conversations about those sports and those teams. You have to literally walk out of the room, okay? Because you just it is so frustrating. But at least we don't have the Cleveland syndrome, I guess I'm labeling it as right now, because they were up 3-1.
3-1.
One game. That's all they needed.
I think when they went into the Game 5 at Wrigley, they didn't have the mindset that they had the first 4 games of we're going to step on your throat and we're going to beat you with our pitching, and then we're going to win the game. I think they went into Game 5 with kind of the attitude we're going back home, for 2 more games. We're going to win one of those 2 games with our pitching. We got Kluber, our ace, Game 7 if we have to go to Game 7. And I think Cleveland just kind of took their foot off the gas pedal, if you can do that in baseball. It's so visible in football because of, the way offense moves and stuff. But I really think they took their foot off the gas pedal. I think they had the Cubs. And let's give the Cubs a little bit of credit here. Being a Cubs fan, they made a lot of adjustments that I think were just terrific. I mean, we saw Game 7 with Javi Baez hitting that opposite field home run, and the catcher's name is slipping in my mind.
Cody Ross.
No, not Cody Ross. He hit a home run as well, but the guy who went opposite field off the wall and got a double.
Not Montero?
No, not Montero. He got
had
the
3
base hit.
catchers. I'm trying to think of the third one as well.
Wilson something. Wilson something. Anyway, they stuck with it. Javi Baez, the first 4 games was just horrific. Mm-hmm. I mean, he really was.
Well, the whole middle of the order was Rizzo. Yeah. I mean, you can even put your table setter in Dexter Fowler, Chris Bryant, and again, I want credit. Game 6, I said Chris Bryant is due.
Yeah,
and homeboy goes yard.
Yeah,
game ties up the game. Or game 5, whatever. I can't keep up with numbers, Caleb.
It's okay.
Right?
It's okay.
I don't. Yeah, it's just
sportscasters don't do it.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Whatever it was, he hit a home run, and then he hit a home run in Game 6 as well. I'm pretty sure to start that. So
I think Matt, what really set the tone for this Cubs team in Game 7 was Fowler leading off with a home run because they haven't been able to hit Kluber. I mean, the whole series, the first 2 games. Obviously, Game 1 he was just amazing. Nobody was hitting that guy. I don't care what lineup you throw out there. And as deadly as this lineup is, I mean, Rizzo, Bryant, Schwarber. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. But I think game 7, when Fowler came out and hit the leadoff home run, 4 pitches in against Kluber, that lineup knew, hey, we can hit this guy. We have a chance. And they did. And they hit the ball extremely well. Game 7, obviously scoring 8 runs. But how about Miguel Montero coming in? It was Wilson Contreras, by the way.
Wilson Contreras,
yeah. Who started the game. Montero coming in, again, his only hit in the postseason, not just the World Series, but the whole postseason was the walk-off grand slam that he hit. And comes in and gets a base hit in the top of the 10th and adds another run to the Cubs lead, which if they didn't have that run, we're maybe talking about 11 innings, you know? So it was overall just an amazing series. I mean, every pitch, and we saw it just watching the game from the crowd's perspective. Every pitch was it just had you. It had your nerves, and sometimes Joe Madden just maybe want to pull my hair out.
Well, that's what I'm going to touch on right here. I think being down 3-1, I think the Cubs had the right guys in charge. Obviously, you have Theo Epstein, who was responsible for what happened in 2004.
Yeah, with
in the ALCS. Yes,
we don't talk about.
I don't talk about that. But
what's that 30 for 30?
I have not watched it. I will not watch it. But
4 days in October.
Also, I think Joe Madden is the perfect manager for the situation. Why? Yeah. He's not panicking. He was going to keep it loose.
Yeah.
And I think that was the thing. I think the Cubs knew they had the talent. They can win 3 straight. They've done it before.
Yeah.
Even if it is the World Series or not.
Time
kind of like I said, I felt like, and I've said this to you, I feel like for whatever reason, if they were able to win Game 6, they would beat Kluber in Game 7. Why? Because look what they did earlier in the NLCS. Kershaw dominated.
Yeah.
Rich Hill dominated.
And Hill, yeah.
And they got to them both when it mattered.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I am not trying to spoil the Cubs World Series. I'm really not. But I do think I can make a strong case for it. As bad as the Cubs were in the first few games of this series, I do not think they would have been able to recover if the Cleveland Indians had their full starting rotation. If they had Carrasco and they had Salazar, and Salazar now pitched out of the bullpen, but it was just for the World Series. Yeah. If they had those 3 guys pitching, I do not think, just because as slow as they started, I think this could have been over in Game 4 or 5 with that rotation. Yeah. So I will say, and I'm not trying to take away what they did, but I do think not having those pieces for the Indians certainly still helped. They had to face Tomlin in Game 6, who pitched very, very well in the postseason. I mean, but still, you kind of felt like, okay, we can get to this guy. I mean, does he have really that it factor, the pitch in Game 6? Can he close it out?
Yeah.
And I think if you have Salazar or Carrasco pitching in that game, it could have been different. Try to beat Carrasco or Salazar and then Kluber back-to-back games. I just don't know if it could happen. I'm not going to say, no way it can't happen. I'm just saying it would have been very, very difficult to do.
Well, I think, too, another big if for the Cubs is you bring up the situation with their starting rotation with the Indians. What if the Cubs had Kyle Schwarber fully healthy for all 7 games, and he was able to play in the field.
Yeah, because he had a very good series in the 4 games.
I understand he's not that great of a fielder.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to have that bat in the lineup, it's extremely valuable.
Yeah.
You know.
And then also, just overall, just to kind of wrap it up though, this was an epic World Series. I mean, if you are not a fan, and I think I mentioned this earlier, I haven't watched the World Series since 2009. If the Yankees are not in it, I don't care. But this one I had to watch. The history, the Cubs not winning for 108 years, 1908. The Indians not winning for 68 years in 1948. This was one that if you didn't care about either team, you had to watch. Yeah. And you were going to feel sorry for the loser. Because honestly, Kale, I know you're happy. You don't care. You don't feel anything towards the Indians.
They just got a championship.
Yeah. I feel horrible. And even if the Cubs, and I was rooting for the Cubs, 108 years, I can't even imagine. I mean, Kale, did you see the stats they were putting up on the television? Things that didn't exist in 1908. People who were alive, like Al Capone was 9 years old. Mark Twain was 72. Babe Ruth was 13. It's just, that's a long, long time. Yeah. And it's just a tremendous series. And what a Game 7 we got. I mean, you can't ask for a better. I know if you're a Cub fan and you see that home run by Rajai Davis, you're thinking, "My goodness, it's happening."
Like, here's my thing. How did he even hit the ball? Like,
he got the barrel on it. I mean, that's simple.
And it wasn't like Chapman threw it 100 miles an hour. I think that was one of his all-speed pitches.
Yeah, it was a slider that kind of stayed up just enough for him to get the barrel on it. And
that thing, when he hit that ball, I was in my living room, and I was on my hands and knees, and I was like, why?
Yeah, I mean,
why?
It's certainly when I hit my mouth dropped. Like, what just happened? And you can't ask for a better World Series than that. You can't. I mean, it was perfect.
I was thinking to myself, that dang goat.
Yeah,
that dang Billy Goat.
No, it wasn't the most perfect baseball. There was some sloppy play, but both teams. My goodness! I mean, that's what you want to see. Championship game or a championship game with 2 teams. Just battling because Cleveland wouldn't go away.
It was entertaining.
It was outstanding. I was very, very happy with this World Series.
The highlight of Game 7 though was definitely David Ross.
Especially
hitting that home run.
Well, before he had the error.
Yeah.
And then that wild pitch, I still don't think it was really. I mean, obviously it's not his fault; it's the pitcher's fault. But I mean, it's not like he didn't get his body in front of it. He did. It just landed 5 feet in front of him and then hopped over his head.
Yeah.
So I mean, just to hit that home run. I mean, my dad is not a big, huge baseball fan. He watched this World Series, and the reason why I bring him up is I think Ross is now his favorite player because we play. Well, yeah, because we play slow pitch softball, right?
Yeah.
My dad is 50-something years old, and he's inspired by Ross. Yeah, he's the old man of our team, so he was inspired by Ross. And my dad told me, he says, "I'll tell you what, man. If I ever hit a home run in a slow pitch softball game, I'm done. I retire." It's not, but he's. He can hit now, but he's not home run distance wise. No. I just thought that was pretty funny. So, just a tremendous World Series, and I'm very, very. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that.
I'm happy for baseball too.
Yeah, it was good for baseball. It really was.
It definitely reeled me in, and I'm a really strong Cubs fan, but I can't watch every single game. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of baseball.
Yeah, I watch every Yankee.
But this series will reel me in to watching a little bit more Cubs games than I normally would. Mm-hmm. And obviously, next year they're going to be on Fox all the time.
Yeah. And then also down here in South Carolina, there's a lot of Cubs fans because they have the WGN
network,
which is based out of Chicago. So they show a lot of Cubs. So this is a lot of people, especially in the South now. I'm sorry, I got to call you guys out. There's a lot of bandwagon fans here, but I've known a lot of Chicago Cub fans because of that access way before they started winning. Yeah. I mean, I've been friends with you since middle school, and you were always a Cub fan. So,
growing up, you cut on, especially when we did, it was the Sosa, McGuire, Bonds era, the steroids era, and even though Sammy Sosa I don't think was ever, tested positive for steroids. But anyway, he was just a stud. That's a little biased. Like, growing up watching Sammy Sosa, that was the guy that I fell in love with watching baseball, just the way he played and everything. And so my attention was drawn to the Cubs because, they weren't always on TV. And it was, WGN was a national network.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously now the Cubs aren't on WGN. I think WGN's gone. But Harry Carey and all these legends, and then the 7th inning stretch they always do. It's just an entertaining team, and I'm extremely glad for baseball and the Cubs organization. And let's just go ahead and put Theo Epstein in the Hall of Fame.
Well, let's go ahead. And first of all, thinking of the Hall of Fame, I will say this about Terry Francona. People were saying through the World Series, he wins this, absolutely, he's a Hall of Famer.
Somebody give that man a hubba bubba contract. Goodness gracious.
He doesn't need to win this World Series to be a Hall of Famer. No. I think he's a tremendous manager. Yeah. But Theo Epstein may be the smartest man that worked for. Brian Cashman is great for the Yankees. Yeah. But Theo Epstein is amazing. He said 5-year plan. Give me 5 years. Well, in 4 years, they were in the NLCS. Yeah. And 5 years, he brings that championship to him. That's impressive. That is really, really impressive.
And I know this Cubs team, looking to next year, obviously Ross is gone. But I think probably Fowler's probably gone. He signed a 1-year deal.
I think Chapman is possibly gone.
Chapman's probably gone. So that's Ross is probably the smallest piece that you have to refill.
But the thing is, even if they lose those pieces, they have such a good minor league system
man,
that they can do the same thing they did this year.
And like you're saying, if the Yankees, and we talked about this the other day, if the Yankees go back and get Chapman, the Dodgers closer, his name
Jansen.
Kenley Jansen, he'll be in the market.
Yes.
And him and Chapman are one and the same.
Yeah.
Chapman throws. Nobody throws as hard as Chapman does, but Jansen's a really good closer as well. So I think they can refill that spot. They've got plenty of money to spend.
Oh yeah.
A lot of these young players
don't make them much. Yeah, they're $400,000 contracts. And they're stuck with that for a few years.
Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
Rizzo's. I think he's got a big deal. Obviously Lester's got a big deal. And then Hayward's got a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this team's going to fork out a little bit more money this year. And who knows? I don't even know who's going to be a free agent this year. But looking in the market for a good center fielder who can bat lead off, it's probably not a hard market to fill. So
you can find somebody.
Yeah.
So basically, though, that's going to wrap it up for the World Series discussion. And congratulations to the Cubs ending their drought. Caleb, sing the song one more time.
Go Cubs, go.
There you go. All right.
Go Cubs, go.
So when we come back, we're going to be combining high school. Oh, Caleb's having a concert now. Oh, boy. We might have lost.
Cubs gonna win.
So we have high school.
Go
football.
Cubs, go.
Caleb, can I get back to the podcast, please?
Sorry.
Thank you.
I had to yell at my neighbor.
Yeah. High school football and college football when we come back. Welcome back to the Assist Podcast. So, high school football, there were actually some games last night. Now, the season was supposed to end, I believe, the following week. Yeah.
Last Friday they were supposed to end, but they...
the Hurricane Matthew that came through pushed everything back. Some teams,
Matthew.
Yeah, that's me. A few of the games got pushed back because they didn't want to play and then have 3 weeks off until the playoffs started. So, the biggest game is Dorman and Burns.
Yes.
Big-time rivalry. And obviously Burns did not make the playoffs this year.
No.
We mentioned that in the last podcast. But, Caleb, they were able to beat the Dorman Cavaliers in Dorman.
Yeah. I was actually at that game. Along with about 6 other Burns fans.
I get to talk about that in just a second.
Yeah. It was easily the best game I think Burns has played all year. I don't know if Dorman was holding back or what, but it just seemed like the Burns defense, let's give credit where credit's due. They held them in the first quarter. They played extremely well. Everybody played their spots and were disciplined. And there was one point in the game where Burns had 3 false starts in a row. They lost 15 yards. It was like 2nd and 9, and then all of a sudden turned into 2nd and 24. But Rajay Harris, the running back for Burns, was over 200 yards rushing. This kid's a freshman, and he is already as fast as anybody is on the field. He's just going to get better. And so I want our listeners to watch out for this guy. Number 47 for Burns High School, Rajay Harris. He's going to be an extremely good football player. And his teams, they're going to bounce back next year. They're going to bounce back strong. And what's going to be funny is when Dorman comes to Burns next year, all the fans that will be on the Burns side that were not there,
they'll be back. Yeah,
they'll be back.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been licking my chops about. Because I said it in the last podcast. I basically called the Burns fans very bandwagon or fair weather, whatever you want to call it. Because they're there when they're winning and they're blowing out teams and passing the ball in the fourth quarter, 70 yards down the field when they're up by 70 points. Yeah. And they're all there cheering and making every excuse under the sun if something goes wrong. Yeah. And I said, support them when times are bad. And this was a prime example. This is the last game of the year. It's a rivalry game. I mean, it's big-time football here. And the fans don't go. Burns fans, shame on you. Shame on you. Y'all are fake. You're fake. You got to support them when they're playing bad, just like you would when they're playing good. So, Caleb, you say next year you think they'll be back strong? And I believe so. I mean, it's
the only question that's up in the air is if Layden will be back.
Yeah.
That's the only question.
And even so, I still think they'll be much improved.
Oh, yeah. But what's going to be interesting heading into next year, because Brock Carroll actually didn't play last night due to a mild concussion. I think he suffered during practice because they had last week off.
Yeah.
So they had 2 weeks to prepare for Dorman. And what's interesting is Kerry Enos came in and looked extremely good. He was anticipating his throws. He's getting the ball out of his hands. What's going to be interesting going into next year is this quarterback battle because Kerry made a statement.
Yeah, beating a very good Dorman team. That's
and this young man is extremely tall, 6'4", 6'5". What I think helps him is his height. He can see over the field and over his offensive line. Brock Carroll is not the tallest guy in the world, but he's got a great arm. He's more athletic than Kerry is. But just from a standpoint of being in the pocket and getting the ball out of his hands, I think Kerry may win that battle due to last night's game. And his performance also earlier this year against Broome. He played well against Broome, too. He threw for almost 200 yards, and I think he threw 4 touchdowns in that game. And last night, it was just the Rajay Harris show.
Yeah.
But when it was third and 6 or longer, Kerry Enos showed up big for this team, getting the ball out of his hands. And DeMarcus Gregory, big-time recruit, played terrific as well. So,
and that's what I'm kind of. Even if next year they make those changes, they're winning again. We'll see those fans.
Yeah.
And they're going to be obnoxious. But where are you when they're losing?
Yeah.
You guys are just shame on you. I make me sick. I don't want to hear.
If you don't believe us, what we're talking about, go to our Twitter page at The Assist Radio. We have a picture that we tweeted out last night from the game, right before kickoff too.
It's a big game. That's what I don't understand. I know you're not in the playoff. I get it, but it's a huge game. Where are you?
Yeah.
Don't come talk to me about being a Burns football fan and Burns this and that. Were you at that game the other night? No, you're fake. Silence. Shush.
What's crazy to think about is probably 80% of the people that were there were parents.
Yeah.
And family.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. So I had my venting, I guess, few minutes about Burns once again because it's the truth. You fans are fake. Now, I don't care if I make you mad. You know what? It's the truth. You're fake.
Fake.
But we will keep it with high school football now the season is over.
Yeah.
It's the playoffs, which don't start now until November 18th. Caleb, I see that you have that schedule in front of me for which region?
This is Region 3, 5A. And this is, I'm sorry. Yeah, Region 3, 5A. Bowling Springs won against Clover last night, so they won the region. Spartan High defeated Gaffney 45-35. And obviously Dorman lost to Burns 29-24. But just going through the playoff bracket that we have here, I think some different regions are mixed in. These are just some local teams. The 1 seed West Side is obviously the home team. They'll be playing against Malden. Nation Ford is the home team against Dorman, so Dorman's going to Nation Ford. That should be a good matchup there. Lawrence is the home team against Woodmont. Spartan High is the home team against Clover. Clover just got beat pretty bad by Bowling Springs just last night. So I think Spartan High will easily win that game. Bowling Springs, who has home field throughout the playoffs, will go up against the 4-seed Rock Hill. Greenwood, the 2-seed, will go up against Easley, the 3-seed, and then Northwestern, the 1-seed, will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs as well. Will go up against Gaffney, and then T.L. Hanna, the 2-seed, will go up against Hillcrest. So some interesting matchups here. One that catches my eye was the last game. T.L. Hanna against Hillcrest. That should be a really good game. Talented Hanna team against a resilient Hillcrest team. And also looking at Northwestern and Gaffney. Both these teams can score a lot of points. So that should be an interesting game. And I know West Side, they'll take care of business against Malden and Nation Ford and Dorman.
Well, okay, let me ask you. You're looking at that bracket right there.
Yeah.
Pick me one team that you love from that bracket that you think will be in the state.
Man. It's kind of easy to go with the best team.
Yeah.
In Bowling Springs. It's tough.
I like Northwestern.
I do too.
That's who I think. I know they are also one, but that's who I like. I think.
I'm kind of going on a wing here. I'm gonna say T.L. Hanna.
T.L. Hanna, okay.
Extremely talented football team coming into this year. Very high expectations. They've had to suspend a running back, kick them off the team. But they battled back in their 2-seed. And we learned a few years ago with Hillcrest, if you can catch fire at the right time, this goes for any level in any sport. If you catch fire at the right time going into the playoffs, you carry that momentum over. And it's crazy how far it will travel you. Case in point, Hillcrest, a few years ago, lost, I think, 4 games in the regular season. Caught fire at the right time, had all the momentum, went on to win state. So I like this T.L. Hanna team. They're talented. They've got momentum. And I think that should carry them throughout the playoffs. So I'm actually going to go with T.L. Hanna here. So
that's not a bad pick. So we're going to move on to college football. And first thing we're going to talk about is this week was the BCS rankings, the playoff rankings that came out. Number 1 is Alabama. Number 2 is Clemson. 3 is Michigan. And 4 is Texas A&M.
Questionable, right?
Yeah, very questionable. I was shocked to see that Washington did not stay in the top 4. And Texas A&M right now, they're in some trouble as we speak.
Yeah, they're actually they're losing right now. Coming out of halftime, 28-14 to Mississippi State, who has been able to run up and down the field on the Aggies here. And I guess the human element, the eye test maybe. I think the reasoning, I can't think of the guy who's the head of the group, the commissioner, I guess you could say, or head of the committee for the playoff, the people who picked the playoffs. He said they've played a tougher schedule so far. And, Alabama, they barely beat Tennessee, who just lost to South Carolina. I'm not trying to, play off our home team here in the state, but South Carolina, and this Aggie team also, they didn't blow out the Gamecocks either. So
I did not like this. I kept asking you before we started the podcast, is that really number 4?
Yeah.
So, basically what we were going to talk about with it is the team that we don't see remaining in the 4. And I think we're both in agreement, even if they come back and win this, I don't think Texas A&M will be a lock in that 4.
Especially if Washington runs the table. The analysts have talked about this. The way it's set up for Washington is if they run the table, they're in, along with the other top 3 teams. If Michigan runs the table, they're in. If Clemson runs the table, they're in. And the Final Four is pretty much set. We pretty much know if Washington and the rest of these 4 teams, the top 3 teams, run the table, they're in. Now, where it gets interesting is, let's say Clemson loses in the ACC championship, or Michigan loses to Ohio State, but Ohio State loses to somebody else before they play Michigan. Or let's say Ohio State loses to Nebraska tonight. Where do they move Nebraska up? Because Nebraska will be in the Big Ten championship game. So there's 1,000,001 scenarios that can happen. But I completely agree with you. I think that Texas A&M will not be in the Final Four.
And I think it's very easily. And I know I picked one of our first podcasts. I said I have Michigan a lock in the Final Four, but it's very possible they get knocked out because I still have to play Ohio State. So it's just going to be interesting to see. I think we both agree as well. I think Alabama and Clemson will be there.
Yeah, I think even if Clemson was to lose, they'd still be in because they're not going to take a team from the Big 12. The team with the best chance right now is Oklahoma, and they have 2 losses.
But the thing is, with Clemson, if they have a loss before the ACC championship game, that's a terrible loss. I mean, they play Syracuse.
Very true.
They play South Carolina. Just really bad teams. So I do disagree with you there. If Clemson is to lose in one of these easy-looking wins for them, I think they're out for sure. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think they are going to get tested. I really do. I think they're not going to be cakewalk. I think there's going to be at least one of those games that you're going to be at the edge of your seat. I don't know which one. If I had to guess, I think it's Pitt. I think it's Pitt.
Yeah. Pittsburgh is a good football team. That's the game that I was looking at as well. Syracuse today, it's Syracuse. And we saw what Florida State did to Syracuse. But this Pittsburgh team is a talented team.
Yeah.
And then they go to Wake Forest. Shouldn't be that much of a challenge.
And I will say about South Carolina. They should beat South Carolina, and I think they will. But because that's another rivalry game, I think South Carolina is going to be up for it. They're going to play hard, and they may be in it early. I think eventually Clemson will just impose their will on them. But
you know what I can't stand is when people say last year Carolina had a chance to beat them. They did.
No.
Let's be honest, okay? They scored a touchdown with about 10 seconds left on the clock and kicked the extra point. And it made it like a 9-point ball game. Well, we played them close. No, you didn't. Okay? You were losing by more than 14 points, and you scored a touchdown because Clemson's defense was just like,
prevent defense.
Go ahead. Yeah. Just run the clock out. We don't care. We're done. We're going to win. But, I think Carolina's going to play them close. Listen, Carolina's got a lot of momentum right now. They finally have a quarterback, somebody who can throw the ball. And they will carry a lot of momentum into the game. They'll probably be more fired up than Clemson emotionally. But I think Clemson overall will just overwhelm them with their talent. And also South Carolina's offensive line is not the greatest. They've struggled this year so far. So we'll see how they can protect Jake Bentley today against Missouri and throughout the season, and especially that matchup with Clemson and their terrific defensive line. But Matt, let's say we sub in Washington. Let's just go ahead and presume that all 4 of the teams go undefeated. Alabama stays the 1 seed, Clemson the 2 seed, Michigan the 3, and then Washington the 4. Do you see this Clemson team beating Michigan? If they're on their full game and Michigan's on their full game, they're both playing A+. Do you see this Clemson team beating Michigan?
I do.
You do?
I do. And it's just because...
Why do you think they can beat Michigan?
There's just a thing about teams that win. They make, obviously, winning plays.
Yeah.
And I think that's all Clemson does. I mean, you watch them and you go, they're going to lose this game. But they may get some help. They might, like NC State, they might miss a field goal. But at the end of the day, it seems that somebody on that team, whether if it's on offense or on defense, steps up and makes a play.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like this Clemson team. As bad as, they've played a lot of close games with a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But as much as I like Michigan because of Harbaugh, I think he's doing a great job there and building a real
tremendous
2 years.
2 years.
I mean, fixed it like that.
Yeah.
I think it was Rich Rodriguez that said, "Can't build a program overnight." Or okay, Harbaugh did.
That's because he stayed overnight a few times.
Yeah. I do think Clemson right now And also, I will say this: this is probably Clemson's last hurrah at it. I'm going to be honest, Caleb. I don't know. I don't think they'll still be a very good football team.
Obviously, they'll be without number 4, Deshaun Watson, and replacing a player as dynamic and as impactful as he is going to be hard. But I think this team is Kelly Bryant's no slack. The Wren product, he's no slack. You know, this team is they're built. They rebuild. They don't rebuild. Excuse me. They just what?
Deshaun Watson gone. Louisville still has Lamar.
True. Very true. But since you threw a butt at me, I'm gonna butt at you. Okay. Yes, Lamar Jackson is terrific. Okay. Extremely dynamic. He's the Deshaun Watson this year that Deshaun was last year. The game today, he's already over 100 yards rushing and 100 yards passing, and probably over 300 yards passing. And he only needed 4 yards today to be the first ever Louisville quarterback to rush for 1,000 yards in a season. But this defense, they're young. Dexter Lawrence, I don't know if you saw him against Florida State, Matt. Big number 90. Mm-hmm. He big boy.
Yep.
You know what year he is?
No, I do not.
He's a freshman.
Wow.
So he's 6'5", 300-plus pounds. And I don't know if you saw what he did to Francois, but that dude is a beast. And this defense is going to be good next year. They're only losing a couple people. Obviously, Boulware will be there.
Watson hurts to lose him, though. That's the only thing, I think.
But I think with their recruits they're bringing in, T. Higgins, they have Feaster in the backfield from Spartan High, the Spartan High product, who this year hasn't played a whole lot. But against Boston College, we saw his speed and his game-changing plays that he can make. So I think this team they'll reload, and they won't be as highly ranked because they don't have number 4. Yeah, but this team will be no slouch. Like they're still going to challenge Florida State. They're still going to challenge Louisville. They're still going to challenge for an ACC championship. Now the national level.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think this is their last year for the national level.
I think it all depends on how Kelly Bryant comes in and plays, and also you have to look at the recruits in the future. I'm trying to think of the young man out of Fort Dorchester, the quarterback that is just, he is Lamar Jackson. Just in high school. So I think they can rebuild, or not rebuild, but they can just reload. And I think they'll be a national contender, maybe not next year, but the year after. Mm-hmm. They'll be close. I think it's DeCarrion Joyner is the guy from Fort Dorchester who is just amazing.
And Caleb, just for time, we're going to kind of move on to just a few things that we're looking at. Nebraska and Ohio State tonight.
Yeah.
Did Ohio State bounce back from that ugly loss to Penn State? I agree with you.
They're too talented. Yeah, Nebraska's overrated.
Yeah, I think Nebraska's about to get a world of just hurting tonight, just to be honest. Now, here's what I really want to get to because I think you're about to call me crazy. Alabama, LSU. Caleb, I have a feeling.
Oh, boy.
LSU. As we keep saying this is going to be the week, and nobody has even came close to competing with Alabama. Something is telling me LSU could win this football game today. I don't know what. I have no clue. I don't have any reasons behind it. It's just a hunch. That's all it is. It's a hunch.
Listen.
So even if it does happen, I'm not going to sit here and brag like, I told you. I'm just saying it's a hunch.
No chance.
I couldn't even blame you for saying that.
Okay, let's just explain the reasoning by me saying no chance. Same style offense, same running back, dynamic running back in Fournette. Still no quarterback.
Yeah, they don't have a quarterback, yeah.
And pro-style offense does not defeat Alabama. What defeats Alabama is spreading them out and having a quarterback that can run. Now, I'm sure that the quarterback, number 16 for LSU, he's okay. He's a decent quarterback, but he's not a Deshaun Watson. He's not a Cam Newton. And this defense is just, for Alabama, it's just insane. This is a blowout from the beginning. LSU may keep it close in the first quarter, may keep it close in the second quarter, but Alabama will always pull away in the third quarter against these SEC teams that just don't spread them out. And Alabama will dominate, and we'll see them in January, probably in the national championship, and probably winning another one.
Well, I will say, and I'm not going. That's why I'm saying I have a feeling LSU could win. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying something's telling me that this could be it. But I can understand that Alabama right now, this may be one of the best college teams assembled. I mean, everybody keeps, this is the week, and then they put it on them. But I don't know if it's just because it's played, I believe, today at LSU, or tonight at LSU. That could give them a little bit of hope. So that's just what I wanted to bring out to you. I just have a feeling that tonight could be the night we see Alabama lose or at least struggle.
Yeah.
You say no chance.
No chance. They roll, as always, roll tide.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for our college football discussion. As we come back, we're talking NFL.
Go Cubs, go, go! Oh, okay. This is not the baseball. Sorry.
Still the baseball. Still the baseball.
Still got a little bit of a hangover here on World Series, you know. Not that I drink alcohol or anything. I really don't. Let's get into a little bit of NFL here. Obviously Thursday night, Atlanta just blew the wheels off Tampa Bay. Not surprising. But if you had Mike Evans in that game, you're a fantasy guy. I did. He got me 41 points, and he was electric.
Yeah,
150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's going to get double-figure targets every game.
Yeah.
So.
The 1 o'clock schedule here, it's kind of a loaded slate. Pittsburgh is at Baltimore.
It's a rivalry game, and usually games are really close.
Kind of boring too, but Big Ben and that offense, you never know.
Who do you like in that?
I like Pittsburgh because Baltimore's offense is just horrific. So I think they'll just carve them up. Dallas is at Cleveland. Shouldn't expect much of a game there. Cody Kessler started for Cleveland.
I don't understand that. I guess, they want to move from McCown because he's not going to be their future. I understand that. And I guess, more I just thought about it. They are 0-8. So what's the point of playing McCown trying to win a few games? Yeah. Never mind.
Just go ahead and lock up the number 1 draft pick, you know. Jacksonville at Kansas City. Your Jets are in Miami at 1 o'clock, so that should be a.
That's a very interesting game, and it's not just because I'm a Jet fan. It's just there's a chance for history this week. You have Jay Ajayi.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, has came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's at 200 plus.
He's been unbelievable.
2 games.
He's I believe. I'm going to take a look just to make sure, so I'm not giving you guys.
Like the 4th player ever.
Yeah, I think something it's like definitely O.J. Simpson, Ricky Williams, and Earl Campbell. I believe there might be somebody else who did it, so I am going to double check just to make sure.
I think you're right. I think it was just 3 and then him.
Okay, well I'm going to check to make sure. But anyway,
as you're looking, we'll go to the next couple of 1 o'clock games here. The Eagles play the Giants. That's in New York. So see if Carson Wentz can carry his Eagles up there along with his defense and get a win against the Giants. Detroit, the Lions go up to Minnesota. That should be a cold game. Even though Minnesota's inside, I just remember that. Now I feel like an idiot. We move on to our 4 o'clock games here. Carolina is going to L.A. to play the Rams. Carolina, I think they're actually going to lose this game. Just for they had to travel across the United States, and Los Angeles is kind of sneaky good at home.
Yeah,
their defense is pretty good. New Orleans is staying in California here. New Orleans is playing San Francisco. Drew Brees and his boys should take care of business there. Tennessee is playing at San Diego. Matt, a good fantasy question here. Obviously, San Diego's defense is not the greatest. They've been pretty good the past few weeks against quarterbacks, fantasy-wise. Who are you taking, Mariota or Phillip Rivers?
I'll take Phillip Rivers over Mariota right now. I know Mariota is showing signs that he's might be changing things around in Tennessee, but Phillip Rivers, to me, is one of the top quarterbacks in this league who just doesn't get credit because he plays for an awful team.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I love to have Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
I'll give you Sheldon Richardson and right now for him and a draft pick or two. I don't care if he's
because you guys really need a quarterback.
Yeah, so. Shut up.
And then we have our last 4 o'clock game here, Indianapolis at Green Bay. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to bounce back here after playing a really good game last week in Atlanta. But did you ever figure out that was it just Earl Campbell, Ricky Williams, and OJ?
Yeah, it was just those 3.
Uh-huh.
So, going back to that Jet and Dolphin game, there has never been a running back to run for 200 yards in 3 straight games. Never's happened.
This Jets defense is stout against the run.
That's the key about this game. You have a Jay who is just on fire right now.
Yeah.
Against the number 1 run defense in the NFL. The Jets only give up 74 yards on the ground per game.
What's interesting here too is Adam Gase, the head coach for the Dolphins, came out earlier this week, or maybe been last week because they had a bye last week, and said that they're going to try to limit his workload because I think he had 25 plus carries in both of the games. Fantasy stud the past 2 weeks. But I'm playing him this week. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep this rolling against this really good Jets.
I think he's going to have a few decent runs in there, maybe some 12, 15 yards, but I see him being shut down. Because why? I think the Jets, as bad as their secondary is, and I mean, it's awful. Darrelle Revis, just a waste of money at this point.
You got Jarvis Landry.
Gosh, I mean, Terrell Pryor carved him up. Jarvis Landry, it's just not going to be fair. But I feel comfortable making Ryan Tannehill try to beat us because I don't think he can. I don't think he can make enough plays too.
Yeah.
There's some discussion. Can he become an elite quarterback? No, he can't. He can't. He's not going to make enough plays to beat the Jets. I think the key for this game is if you stop that run, Fitzpatrick, do not turn the ball over. Fitzpatrick, I'm talking to you. Do not turn the ball over. And I think the Jets will get another close win. I say 24-20. Last year, these were not close games. The Jets dominated by double digits in both the games. Outscored them 65-34 for the season. That's not going to be the case this week. But I do think if the Jets stop the run, take care of the ball, they win this game.
Okay.
And then we got moving on to
the
Giants
game.
Eagles, I'm curious. Who do you got?
Giants Eagles?
Yeah.
I got the Wentz wagon now.
Okay, that's why I'm the opposite. I think the Giants are going to win this game. Yes, I do. I like. Obviously, you have the potential there with Eli with all the receivers that he has. Just get them the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, get Odell the ball.
That's the weakness of this Giants offense is their offensive line.
Yeah.
We know the strength of the Eagles is their defensive line.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I just think Carson Wentz, he's been extremely good for a rookie quarterback in controlling the offense, controlling the tempo. But obviously the game of the week this week and Monday night is really just Buffalo at Seattle. Let's just go ahead and pick the Seahawks here.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, like I said, Buffalo got a little hot, but they weren't playing anybody. So I think now they're going to start falling off.
I mean, you got a mad Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
So I just think the Seahawks are going to take care of
the
business.
game. I think is more intriguing is the Sunday night game.
Yeah,
Denver
and Oakland. That's going to be.
Is Oakland ready to take over this division?
I think so.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I think Derek Carr is too much. This offense is too much.
They have a very good offense, but when I think Von Miller wants to just take over, he will just take over.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling he's going to go do that on Sunday night.
Well, I just think that tomorrow night, Derek Carr, they're at home, okay, in front of their home crowd. They've won 5 games on the road this year already. Have they won any games at home? I think they've won maybe one. I think they're 5-2. So I think they're 6-2. Excuse me.
6-2, yes. Tied for the division lead.
Yeah. So I think that this team, I think they're going to come out Sunday night. I think they're going to be coming out firing on all cylinders. And let's see. I'll look at their schedule. Yeah, they haven't won at home this year.
Yeah.
They've lost. Oh, that was preseason. Yeah, they lost twice at home, and the rest of their wins have been on the road. Well, they have one win at home. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So the rest of their wins have been on the road. And just looking at their schedule here, they played Atlanta at home, played them tough. Atlanta, a good football team. And they played San Diego close. That was their lone win at home. And San Diego team is not very good.
I believe they came back in that game. They were trailing.
Yeah, and then Kansas City, they played at home, and Kansas City, tore them up.
Kansas City, 15-2 in their last 17 games.
Yeah, so I think they're going to come out, and I think this is the game that Derek Carr is going to show to the world. Look, I'm a superstar. I'm good enough to carry this momentum into the second half of the season because the past couple of years he hasn't been able to carry his momentum and carry his abilities into the second half of the season. He's kind of fallen apart. This year, I think he's more – I don't want to say more ready because that doesn't make any sense. But I think he's ready to take over. And we saw it last week. He threw for 513 yards with no interceptions. Somebody that throws for 500 yards with no interceptions, that's just amazing. And obviously Crabtree, Cooper, Latavius Murray, this offensive line is extremely good and very well built. So I just think they're going to come out Sunday night. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I have it a low-scoring game, to be honest.
Really?
Yes, I have Denver winning by 3 or 4 points.
3?
Yeah, I think their defense is going to make enough plays to slow down this offense. I don't think Oakland is quite ready yet. And I know I wasn't really high on Denver to start the year just because the quarterback situation, but they've been seeming to find a way to win without it. So I guess that defense really can just carry them. So and the running game. So I like Denver, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, just thinking of going back to Denver, the last time they played a high-powered offense since in Atlanta at home, they lost 23-16. Now, obviously, the Raiders don't have Julio Jones, but they have Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree and Latavius Murray. Mm-hmm. So they have a dynamic running back, just like Atlanta does. They have they don't use the two-back system with Coleman and Freeman that Atlanta uses, but Freeman and Murray are kind of one and the same. They're both very good pass catchers, and they're both very good between the tackles. And Cooper and Crabtree, I just think that this Oakland team's ready to take over.
Well, we will certainly see. That is going to be a fun matchup on Sunday night, but we're going to wrap up our NFL segment and go into our final segment, discussion of the NBA, and we'll also finish, of course, with our best thing and worst thing we saw of the week. Welcome back to the Assist Podcast as we wrap up our show today discussing a little NBA and then, of course, the best and worst thing we saw. So, Caleb, we're going to talk about some of the headlines this week in basketball. Thursday night, Kevin Durant and his former teammate, but I'm it's a bad breakup. A breakup between Durant and Westbrook. And that game was just
his blowout.
My goodness, Kevin Durant, you talk about motivated.
Yeah, Enes Kanter kind of helped that out too.
Yeah, that was. If you guys didn't see the game, Durant wasn't missing. I mean, basically every shot he was taking was going in. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's dunking all over.
Yeah, dominating, and Durant has heard some of the things that have been said about him, and he wasn't shy of himself talking to the OKC bench, jawing a little bit, and then, as you're referring, Enes Kanter was kind of going back at him. It's bad when you have your teammate and Steven Adams tapping Kanter on the leg like, just stop, be quiet, don't talk to him no more.
Yeah,
because they had no answer for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
39 points, I think it was.
It was just, it wasn't even. It was a blowout. First of all, we'll pull up the numbers for you here, but certainly another big game. The question was, who was it bigger for? Was it bigger for Durant or Westbrook? In my opinion, I felt like it was bigger for Westbrook. And I kind of I figured Golden State would win this game because
they're a better team. Yeah.
But talking about the individual performance, I felt like this was Russell Westbrook was about to come in and just demolish them, which he had a great game.
Yeah.
But certainly wasn't the case. It was Durant that kind of stole the show, as you said. Durant, 39 points, 7 rebounds, to Westbrook's 20 points and 10 assists. But again, this was a game that kind of very similar to what we saw a few years ago when LeBron was with Miami and returned to Cleveland for the first time. And at that point, you saw a Miami team struggling. But that kind of brought that team together. They all kind of rallied behind LeBron, and they demolished Cleveland. Same kind of thing we saw here in Golden State. The Warriors saw how important this was for Durant. They know how hard it was for him to leave, everything that's being said about him. So they showed that we got your back, and I mean, they took it to the Warriors. I mean, this was not a pretty game at all.
Yeah. I think this game was actually bigger for the Warriors.
Okay.
Any game that they win by a lot, which will probably be
a lot of the time,
a majority of their games, I think it develops their team more, their team chemistry more, which I don't think. I mean, you could always use more team chemistry, you know. But I just think this team, with each game, they're growing together. And Westbrook, he's going to do his thing this year. We all did that going into this year. Probably going to be the MVP if they make the playoffs, especially if they win over 50 games. But, yeah, I think this game was bigger for Golden State.
I believe it was OKC's first loss, too.
Yeah,
right?
And a team since, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say, you know, this was talked about the other day that OKC got off to a great start, but they beat the Clippers.
Yeah,
which was a nice win for them. But before that, I think they beat the Lakers, and then I forgot who they opened up the season with. But it was basically another cakewalk for them. So this was really their kind of biggest test, and that just shows, without having Durant there, in my opinion, kind of foreshadows that they're not seriously going to be able to contend with just Westbrook.
Yeah.
You know, the only chance they had was if they had Durant, and now that he's gone, they don't have a chance to play with these best teams.
No, they're not on the same level as the Spurs and Warriors and Cavaliers.
We have another headline. Was Friday night. My New York Knicks struggling so far this season. They were 1-3 coming into last night's game, and 3 out of the 4 games getting blown out. But they come to Chicago, a very good Chicago Bulls team, and it was a return for Joakim Noah, Derrick Rose, and Justin Holiday. And
who?
Justin Holiday?
I don't know who it is.
You don't know who he is? Toothpick legs?
No.
Well, he's pretty good, but he has toothpick legs. You ever seen him? Yeah.
Damn.
You should Google him. See his
toothpick legs.
Yeah, man. I bet you he comes up. That's just, yeah.
I'm actually going to take you up on that.
Yeah, dude, take a look at Justin Holiday's legs. They're like pencils. But he's a very good basketball player. But
is he as skinny as Brandon Ingram?
I wouldn't say that, because Brandon Ingram kind of looks like he escaped Ethiopia. But to get back to more serious talk, we have the return of Derrick Rose and really for Joakim Noah as well. A lot of talk is how the Bull fans were going to receive both of them. Rose said, I expect to hear a lot of boos. I was a little shocked by that because, look, you're going to have fans that boo you because you don't play for their team no more, no matter what you did for them in the past. But it wasn't like Rose said, I want to leave. Trade me right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Noah said, I'm leaving, bye. They didn't want either one of those guys back.
Yeah.
I mean, Noah was a free agent, I understand that, but
I think they were moving on to Jimmy Butler and a younger superstar they can actually depend on that wouldn't, tear his ACL every year.
Yeah, and I think there wasn't, to me, shouldn't have been any ill will. And for the most part, they had a nice video tribute for him. There were some boos.
Which Noah didn't even let Rose watch it.
No, that's why I love Joakim Noah. I mean, I absolutely love him being on the Knicks. He cracks me up. But this was a game, again, very emotional for Rose and Noah.
Yeah.
And my goodness, Derrick Rose played like a former MVP last night.
Yeah.
I don't think he can maintain this day after or game after game. But people that say he don't have MVP ability, Just watch that film from last night. I mean, he was incredible last night. He had a double-double.
Was it 17 and 11, I think it was?
He had 11 assists, which before a lot of people were getting onto him. He's not passing the ball enough. He's not making his teammates better. He's doing a good job scoring, but he had 15 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds. That's an outstanding job.
Yeah.
Joakim Noah hasn't put the ball in the hoop. He's got some rebounds.
You've seen that fine.
Yeah.
Where he takes the pull-up jumper.
Hey, you know what? It looked good for a second, okay? He just needed to push it a little bit more.
Well, I don't know if he can push it much more with 2 hands.
Yeah. But Noah had 16 points and 9 rebounds, as well as Porzingis, a big night for him, 27 points. Anthony, 25 points. Good second half for him. So, a very nice showing for Derrick Rose special.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think, showed he shouldn't have traded me. I think that was part of his performance because he turned back the clock.
Yeah.
Played really, really good basketball. So,
do you think this is I know it's extremely early in the season, but the Knicks they've lost, 2 games so far?
3 games.
3 games?
2 and 3 now.
Okay. Well, our preseason projections, you had them, was it close to 50 wins in 3rd place?
Well, I said it wouldn't shock me if I'm not saying that they would win 50 games. I was saying if healthy, they could be a 48 to 50 win team. I said about 45 wins. 43 to 45 wins is where I feel like they'll still be.
Yeah.
So if you're going to ask me, do I still think they'll be there? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I look at last night's win as a game that's going to get them going? No. Because it was a nice early season win for them, but they still got work to do. Much improved, like I said, protecting the rim.
Yeah.
But they still can't defend a 3-ball. Oh, my goodness. I mean, you like the other night, Ryan Anderson had 7 threes in the game.
Man.
I mean, it was pitiful. So they really struggle with defending the 3-ball. They still have some work to do with that. Speaking of the 3-ball, what is Dwayne Wade doing?
I don't know.
He was 5 of 7 from downtown last night. First game he had 4 threes. He had 7 threes the entire season last year.
He's just pulling it up. Man.
I think, that just shows you as an older player, you have to evolve your game if you're going to stay. So I think he does need to develop that 3-ball more.
Yeah.
But just looked at that. No, he had 35 points last night, 10 rebounds. So Flash looks pretty good himself.
Yeah.
And coming up, I think either next week, he's returning back to Miami.
Yeah.
So that's something we'll definitely talk about. But also last night, Caleb, going back to that Golden State team, they played the Lakers.
Got killed.
Easy win, right? Supposed to be an easy win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not so much. The Lakers dominated them yesterday.
Yeah.
And I hear they just played OKC, but they blew them out.
Yeah.
So the fourth quarter players were rested. So other than the fact that LA simply just took it to them.
I think that, the past few years, LA has been able to do that. At least
In April,
once.
they did it. They beat Golden State in April.
At least once they've been able to beat them, and I think it's always been at home. So I think it's just something to do with the Staples Center.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Some people are going to overreact to this loss.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's early.
It's a bad loss.
It's extremely early in the season.
But it's not the end of the world.
No.
I will say, for the Lakers, though, very, very impressive. A lot of their young stars, I mean, at times it looked like, oh my God, what are they doing? They're about to blow it by jacking up some stupid shot or something. But they always just had an answer. Lou Williams.
Coming off the bench, 20 points.
Unbelievable, especially in that second half.
Did you see the David West get baptized by Larry Nance Jr.?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
okay, gotcha. Yes, they showed the comparison to his dad dunking. I think, Nance got up higher. Jr.
I mean, he had a full head of steam and just took off
on
the dude.
Even Brandon Ingram had a nice night last night. I mean, so far early on, kind of slow with his production, but looked pretty strong last night. So, again, I think there's people that are going to overreact, like, oh, they just lost to the Lakers, To me, it's fine. I mean, again, it's only, game 5, game 6 for them. Okay. They're fine. So, one other thing that we're kind of move into, this doesn't have any headlines last night, it's just been so far this season, and I'm kind of curious to ask you before we wrap it up, is the play of Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. But here's the thing, though. This is the most, so far at this point of the season, I think there's 6 guys that are averaging 30 points a game.
Let's not forget Damian Lillard.
I think he's more.
He had 44 45 last night.
So what I am asking, really, and I mean, out of all these players, you have DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to find out is just curious to see which one of those players would you take? If you were a GM, those players are available. Who would you take right now?
So I've got Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook,
DeMar DeRozan,
Anthony
Davis, and I think that's it. That's averaging 30 points a game. I could be missing somebody, so if I am...
No, I'm definitely not taking Dwayne Wade.
No.
If he's on the list.
No. I'm talking for the season. He's averaging 30.
You sure JaVale McGee's not on there?
He's the best for Shaq and Fool. You got to take him for that.
I would say, man, just based on youth and cornerstone talent, Anthony Davis. Mm-hmm. Just because he's young and the kid's like 20 years old.
I'm still on the Russell Westbrook train there because I think Anthony Davis is amazing, but he's always hurt. He
was just hurt last year.
He misses a lot of time with little injuries. I know he has to do everything for that team, literally everything: rebounding, shooting threes, selling hot dogs. He's got to do everything for that team to keep them competitive. Early on in the season, I think he was averaging 35 points and 16 rebounds in the first few games, obviously. Yeah. But still, that's like video game numbers. It's not even fair. That's something a human being is doing that in the NBA.
Yeah.
That is unreal.
Carving it up.
Yeah. But I think, I still take Russell Westbrook because, to me, I think if you look at it, I think Anthony Davis' numbers are going to be really good, but I think he's going to drop off. Mm-hmm. I think Russell Westbrook's going to be averaging those numbers all season long. I really do.
He doesn't have anybody else to give the ball to. Neither does Anthony Davis. But the only thing about, and if I was a GM, looking into the future, which is why I picked Anthony Davis, looking into the future, Russell Westbrook, when his athleticism declines, he's not going to be that terrific player that he's been.
Yeah.
Because yes, his mid-range shot is really good, but that's about it. You take away his athleticism, you take away the lift on his shot, you take away his drives to the basket. He's not that great of a three-point shooter. And the reason he's so good at his mid-range game is because he can stop on a dime while traveling at hyena speed or cheetah speed and just stop and pull up and lift. So that's why I take Anthony Davis, is because when Westbrook's, we see it with Dwayne Wade, who has developed a three-point shot early in the season. Let's see if we can keep that.
Well, he likes to say he's the Kyle Korver of the NBA now.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Sure. What was that year with the Heat? They made him and LeBron made 12 threes.
Yeah, they told each other they weren't allowed to shoot threes. Yeah.
So let's slow down on the Kyle Korver comparison there for him. I know he's confident in himself, but I think Russell Westbrook will decline, and Anthony Davis will just continue to rise and stay at a higher level longer than Westbrook, just because Westbrook's so dependent on his athleticism, because he is a freak of nature. So.
All right, well, we're going to move on for the last part of the show, which is the best and worst thing we saw. Caleb, I'm going to start with you. We all know what your best thing was, but just go ahead and tell us. Go, Cubs, go.
I won't sing it again, but obviously my best thing of the week was watching the Cubs win Game 7, snapping the 108-year drought that they've had. That's that rebel math for you. But obviously, the Cubs was my best thing of the week. And seeing David Ross and so many different things that happened through all the different games this week, just seeing the Cubs win, obviously, best thing of the week.
Yeah,
so, Matt, what was your...
I'm 100% agreement with you. It's obviously the Cubs that, just like I said, it was an amazing game, amazing season for them. Yeah. Just a great way to end the year for baseball. So, what was the worst thing you saw?
Worst thing I saw... Oh, man.
I got a perfect one.
You go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. It was on Shaq and Fool and Not Top 10 and all that, but Sam Decker steals the ball from the Knicks. Nobody around.
I saw that.
He's going to have a dunk, and the man trips over his feet. That's one part of why it was bad. The second part is, as he lost the basketball, it popped up and hit him in the face. and then went out of bounds. You know it's bad when your coach is looking up at the replay going, wow. Yeah. You can't get much more embarrassing than that. You can't. If I was him, I would have faked an injury like I blew my Achilles or something to make it a little bit better than just following and losing the ball. I would have been, my knee, my neck, my back, to make it somewhat more respectful. Yeah, oh yeah.
I think I tore my ACL.
Yeah, something. Play it off.
I think the worst thing I saw this week, and it goes along with the best thing I saw this week, was we've already labeled it. You labeled it. The collapse.
The collapse. Okay.
That was the worst thing I saw this week. The Indians played hard. It was an entertaining series.
But you have a 3-1.
Up 3-1 with 3 more chances.
2 games at home.
2 games at home with your ace coming in Game 7 and a guy that was basically unhittable in Tomlin in Game 6. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was blown away at the Cubs' ability to adjust and come back and to win the series. So my worst thing of the week was obviously the Indians losing the World Series.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up the show today. Now, really quick, that website we've been telling you guys about, well, we finally have it up. Still not completed, but it is actually viewable now. You can go and check out theassistpodcast.wordpress.com. Again, that's theassistpodcast.wordpress.com. The last thing that we got to add is our bios, but in the podcast section, you will find each of the podcast announcements. You'll find, obviously, the welcome page and a little bit about what our goal is here at the Assist Podcast. So, again, check out the website, theassistpodcast.wordpress.com, and check out our social media pages. And, a few listeners we have, we just want to thank you guys for staying tuned to us.
When we make it famous, we'll remember you guys. Even though we don't know your names.
Yeah. But we want to thank you guys again, and we'll be back next week.